Now, I'm very comfortable saying I'm British, black British. Of course I am. And I'm very, very proud. No one could say I wasn't, because I talk about it all the time, about my Caribbean roots. And I know the Caribbean very well. But it's to say that I'm English. Sorry? What?
You're British, but you're not English.
Well, that's the point I think you're making, and I'm disagreeing with that.
What happens when a radio caller tells a British-born politician that he can never truly be English? That's exactly what happened in this extraordinary exchange with David Lammy. At the time, it sounded like one caller expressing a deeply controversial view, but looking back now, the conversation feels much bigger than that. It raises a question Britain is still arguing over today. Who gets to call themselves English? Lammy was told that because of his Caribbean heritage, Englishness was somehow off-limits to him. His response challenged the idea that being English can be reduced to race, ancestry, or appearance. And here's where this gets interesting. What once sounded like an extreme opinion has increasingly become part of a wider political debate about immigration, integration, multiculturalism, and national identity. So is this just one uncomfortable radio call, or was it an early warning of where the political conversation was heading? Let's go back to that moment and hear exactly what was said. Before we dive into the full story, comment where you're watching from, and don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one.
You keep saying that you are African Caribbean, which is fine, but how can you be African Caribbean and English? I couldn't be African. I'm English, but I certainly could not call myself African Caribbean.
You could be Irish, though. You could have Irish.
No, I'm not Irish.
Yeah,
I'm
but
not
you could
Scottish.
be. You could be.
No, I'm not, because I have looked my name right the way back to the Middle Ages, my maiden name, and I'm Anglo-Saxon.
Great.
But you will never be English. You are African Caribbean.
But why will I never be English?
Because you're African Caribbean.
Look,
I can't say to you.
At what point? What about my kids? What are my kids? What are my kids?
I can't say I'm African Caribbean.
What? Yeah, but the truth is, Jean, just a little bit of history on this. Britain, 400 years ago, started going out into the world. It colonised and conquered a lot of the world. A lot of the world has ended up coming back to the mother country. My parents were part of that generation who came from the Caribbean. When I took a DNA test, I actually had Scottish in me, probably because as a result of that, someone somewhere, frankly, got their leg over with one of my ancestors, and I've got Scottish blood running through me. I said that gently, but it could have been horrendous. Let's be clear about that. And here I am, having grown up in this country, have been born of this country, and actually, the truth is, it's a myth that there's one English ethnicity. There's not, because England has always been a country in which Huguenots, Danes, all sorts of people have passed through. So when you say you are English, I'm not saying that doesn't mean something to you and matter hugely.
It does.
Because there are probably, as you put it, years and years, hundreds of years of experience of that. But it is to say that for me, the fact that I was born here and the fact that my sensibilities are English mean that I want to claim that heritage as well. Now, I'm very comfortable saying I'm British, black British. Of course I am. And I'm very, very proud. No one could say I wasn't, because I talk about it all the time, about my Caribbean roots. And I know the Caribbean very well. But it's to say that I'm English. Sorry? What?
You're British, but you're not English.
Well, that's the point I think you're making, and I'm disagreeing with that. Tell me, what do you think? What do you think?
If I was born in the Caribbean as a white person, I certainly wouldn't call myself.
Yeah. Well, I'm afraid
Caribbean.
you obviously have you ever been to the Caribbean, Jean?
I haven't. No, I haven't had the fortune.
Well, then you probably don't realise that in countries like Barbados, there are significant white Caribbean populations who have been there for hundreds of years, and they are significantly more Caribbean than I am.
Well, all didn't know that, did you? The whole world is polluting everybody the way it's going.
What's that phrase, polluting?
It is.
Why is it polluting, Jean?
Because you are what you are. You are where you are born.
But hang on, Jean.
Your inheritance. It's your inheritance.
Jean, I can tell that you are more senior than I am in age. So I want to be polite.
No, don't do that.
In this conversation. Well, that's how I was brought up, that you're polite to your seniors, Jean. But what I'm saying is the word pollution Where's that word pollution come from? It's a very negative way.
Well, I'm sorry for that, but
it is negative. It's a negative way to describe the fact that people meet one another, they fall in love, they have kids, they move borders, sometimes through war, sometimes through economic reasons, and they become what they become when they are of that country. And just as you can be in America, and you can be African American, or you can be Italian American, or you can be Irish American. How is it that here in England you can only claim that Englishness effectively, Gene, if you were white?
That sounded like the kind of statement you could dismiss as an outdated view from another generation. But listen to it again today, and it lands differently. Because the bigger issue isn't just the cola, it's how closely that idea now resembles parts of the modern political debate over immigration, integration, and national identity. Take politicians such as Robert Jenrick, who has made controversial comments about demographics and multiculturalism. The language may be more polished, but the underlying question is familiar. Who actually belongs? And that's why Lammy's response matters. He wasn't simply arguing with one caller. He was challenging the assumption that being English must be tied to race or ancestry. His point about identities such as African American or Italian American exposes the contradiction. Britain can have layered identities too. Being Black British, Caribbean British, or African British doesn't automatically make someone less English. The caller's use of the word polluting makes the underlying idea even more obvious. It turns ordinary migration, relationships, and cultural change into something threatening, as though national identity must be protected from people who don't fit a particular image. And that is what makes this exchange so revealing. What sounded like one person's prejudice became part of a much bigger argument about Britain. Who belongs, who doesn't, and who gets to decide. Whether you agree with Lammy or not, this clip forces an uncomfortable question. Is Englishness a shared national identity, or something reserved for people who look a certain way? That's the debate, and it's far from over. What do you think? Let me know in the comments, and if you found this analysis interesting, like and subscribe for more.